You listen to Productions.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another awesome episode of Connect 4. I am Talent.
And I am Mark McDowell.
Welcome, Mark McDowell.
Hey, good to be here. Do musical direction for theater. I play with a band called the Whiskey Sharts. That's my original project. I play all over. I play at Disney. I freelance, do duo and solo work. I play with a group called Acoustic Groove. It's a quartet of mine. Yes, I'm a guitarist, a vocalist, a musical director. It's all I know how to do. I've never had a real job. Been playing guitar since I was 9 years old and never looked back. I had some classical lessons. I was properly trained, but I wouldn't say classically trained. I had started out with lessons once a week, half an hour. Kind of pursued every opportunity that was open to me in order to play in jazz band in high school, which was really the only thing there where they said, okay, here you can play guitar, here it is. You had to play in the marching / concert band, so I did saxophone there for just a few years. After doing that for a few years, I said, you know what? This is just going to be a few more years of doing the same thing. So by junior year, I'd had enough of that.
Could you play sax right now if someone gave you one?
Somebody gave me one. It would take me probably a few minutes to get the technique back, but I would remember where the notes were. Passion is what makes the difference, man. If you want to do something or if you don't. People use the word passionate a lot, and I think to me that word's a disconnect. If you want to do it, you will. I mean, a child can't identify with the word passionate. You know, anybody can identify with the word want. If you want to do it, you will. And like you said, people always say, I don't have time for it. Really? You're watching TV.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on the internet.
I only spend a couple hours a night playing video games. It's like,
yeah.
Well, that's what you do with your time, because the couple hours you spend doing that, I'm editing.
And learning an instrument, you're not going to do it by a marathon session every now and then. It's a little bit of time every day. And I can't speak to the pursuit of other things, but people have, there's been a lot of work written about it that says that other pursuits are similar. You know, they speak of 5,000, 10,000 hours, whatever. Yeah, I don't know the math on it. Mm-hmm. And it would have to, it's different for different people, but it's definitely a little bit of time on a consistent basis. All my life I heard, well, you need something to fall back on. I was like, well, there's nothing else I want to do.
I always said that. If I had a plan B, I would end up doing the plan B.
I hear that from people all the time. They say, so get really good at your plan A. And you also hear about, well, there's it's just too risky to try and become a star. I said, I'm not trying to become a star. I want to play music for a living.
Yes. I mean, if you've been here for any amount of time, at some point or another, you've probably worked for at least one of the theme parks or surrounding areas. I
don't work for Disney full time. Mm-hmm. It's one of the many gigs I do, and I didn't get to work for them my first audition. It took a couple. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. People, I've heard a lot of musicians in particular get really down if they didn't make an audition.
Take notes, kids.
And I say to them, what? Buckle up, man. You didn't make an audition. Go on 5 auditions.
You're going to hear no a lot.
Yeah, go on 5 auditions. I said, I've got actor friends that go on 100 auditions a year to get a job. That's just the way entertainment works. Yeah.
Rejection is part of the
Rejection's part of it. Just keep going. Your job is going to auditions. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
I spent the greater part of the 90s traveling with top 40 R&B cover bands that typically played in hotels or casinos, usually playing 5 or 6 nights a week. We'd play in the same place for a week or maybe 2 or 3. That's really kind of where I cut my teeth. Didn't have to make a lot of money since I always had a place to stay, and the band leader would take the band from point A to point B, and just playing every night, especially when you're young.
Yeah.
I really learned how to play. Well, I'd already been learning how to play because it wasn't just school band. I mean, I had my own bands in high school. I did every opportunity I could. If somebody said I need a guitar player, there I was. I played in church, even though I didn't really care for what they were saying all the time.
But that was a paid gig, though, right?
Not as a kid. It is now. I majored in music in college, and I'm not saying that that's the only way to go. I went straight out of college onto the road.
And where were you living?
I grew up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Grew up in Harrisburg. Went to school in Philadelphia, and then I started touring mostly in the South, which is it was a cultural shift for me.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Totally.
I'm a good guitar player. Anything that is a front person you can take out there, I can back you up on.
I've actually seen how good you are to the point, and I've heard stories too of similar situations where something would happen, went wrong, the band keeps playing, and you jump back in like flawless.
I'm adaptable.
Yeah.
I've been doing it professionally for 27 years.
Well, that's impressive for people who don't play. I mean, that's like, you're like, wait, what? What did you listen to coming up?
Oh, geez.
Being a guitar player.
Well, the 80s got a little too pretentious for a little bit, but my tastes have sort of changed and expanded so much. It was sort of Buddy Holly and the Beatles that first got me into music, and then what was on the radio in the early 80s. I remember Asia and John Cougar being on the radio, and Men at Work. Then MTV exploded, and it was Def Leppard and Michael Jackson, and a lot of subsequent hair bands. Then around 87, 88, my taste just really expanded, and I got into jazz and singer-songwriters, and by 90, by the time I was in college and then ready to go on the road, I was into musical theater, and I was just going into all kinds of directions.
You think that helped with your ability to play?
Oh yeah. Everything you get into nothing's a step backwards. I love that I don't have to be any one thing.
That is amazing. It's very freeing, and most people don't get to experience that. So yeah, you're super lucky.
A lot of people limit themselves. I know a lot of guitar players, especially in my same age, similar ages, just like got influenced by somebody and said, "Hey, I want to be a guitar player." Oh, okay, I'm a guitar player now, and I have to play like these guitar players.
And then just stay in that lane.
These are the greatest guitar players, and so we have to play like them. Oh, don't go outside that box.
When people limit themselves, you really are. You don't know what you're doing, and especially with music.
Any art form.
You shouldn't do that. Don't pigeonhole yourself and just be one thing. I get building up an identity or a brand over here. It's fine to do that and then go over here and do it completely different.
I mean, my attitude is to study everything. I mean, learn, just if you have the opportunity. And because of the internet, you can do it without a formal education if you have the patience. Study everything, learn the significance, or at least the place of everything, but be yourself. Listening to one thing doesn't mean that it takes away from anything else. Mm-hmm. I mean, all the genres kind of build on each other, and it bothers me when people say, "Oh, that somebody steals from somebody," because music is all about influence.
Yeah.
The point I was going to make is, the estate though they seem to they get their. They're getting it two ways. It's by success and somehow by some electronic means of deciphering music, because the song "Waiting on the World to Change" by John Mayer is extremely Marvin Gaye-esque. It's an homage to every major Marvin Gaye hit. You can hear Sexual Healing in there. You can hear What's Going On. You can hear the bridge to Mercy Mercy Me. And yet it's sold millions of records. But do they say anything about it? No, because they don't understand music. If the people in the estate who were suing everyone else who's had successful records, because you listen to those records and it's like, I don't hear Marvin Gaye's music in there. Oh yeah, well when you break it down, it's like something on this beat of that drum beat. Oh, okay, well somebody figured that out.
Some lawyer somewhere.
I hear, like I said, I hear Marvin Gaye all over that John Mayer song. It's, to any musician, it's obvious. It's the most loving homage. It's obviously he was influenced by it.
What the fuck is with people ragging on the bassist? Why are there always the jokes of the bassist? Nobody's been able to answer that for me. Why the bassist? What's the gig? What's the gag?
Okay, I think it's because, especially in amateur bands, the bassist is often the second guitar player often becomes the bass player. So it's considered the lesser of the two guitarists.
Simpler.
Yeah.
There's only 4 strings. Or
The bassist say there's 2 brothers who play guitar. Well, it's whoever was the considered the less good of the 2. Oh yeah, we need a bass player. You become the bass player.
Okay.
So
it's the same when you do AV. There's you go to a gig, the guy's never met you before, but he's an old hat at it or whatever, and he tells you all because he thinks you're a greenhorn, he tells you all the same tired old AV jokes, like why don't audio guys help lift gear off the truck? It's because they because you lift on 3. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
yeah. Well, I have epilepsy. I've had epilepsy since I was 17, 18, about 30 years.
How did you find out?
I actually wasn't diagnosed till the second seizure I had when I was about 17, 18 years old. Woke up one morning just in a lot of pain, and the first one was incorrectly diagnosed. The second one, about a few months later, they diagnosed it as a seizure. Was on Dilantin for many years.
What is that?
It's one of the more common medications for it. It's becoming less common now as better medications are developed.
What did it do? Like what was it supposed to do?
It's supposed to stop the seizures, and it sort of did, but not really. And then around 2000, I was on 2 medications by this point. I started developing a second kind of seizure that called a... Well, the first one's called grand mals, which are the most well-known kinds.
I used to say grandma,
yeah,
like your grandma.
The grandma, yeah, grandma seizures. But grand mal, the most well-known kind, with the convulsing.
Yeah,
but there's actually many different kinds of seizures. Epilepsy.org or centralfloridaseizures.org. If you want to get more information. Around 2000, I started having what's called a simple partial, and they affect my ability to speak. I can't speak while I'm having them. I'm still fully lucid, but I can't talk. And it was good that we found that it was actually good that I started having them. Pretty much nobody would ever think, oh, it's a good thing that I'm having a second kind of seizure, but it was good because my neurologist figured out, that because it affected my speech and also my ability to play guitar. I said, well, I still know exactly what to do with my left hand, but I can't strum in correct rhythm anymore. So I'm like totally white now.
What's happening in your brain when you...
Well, let me finish this. He said, oh, well, if that's what's happening, he said, I know that then that the seizures are coming from the left side of your brain because speech is coming from the left side of your brain, and he said if you can't move, if you're still good on the left side of your body but not the right, said right side's the left side of your body, left side's the right side of your body. Mm-hmm. So we were able to locate it, and I've done several studies since that confirm. Well, I haven't done the studies. I've just laid there. The doctors.
You've been a part of this.
The brain surgeons. The smart people.
Yeah.
It's no metaphor anymore. It's literally brain surgery. Well, it's not brain surgery. Yes, it is. That confirm and even further localize. It's the front lower part of my brain where the seizures are coming from. But both kinds are coming from the same place. Sorry, I had to finish that thought.
Well, what is it mechanically? Like, is there misfirings in the signal? Like
that's how they describe it. Yeah. The best way I can describe it is, your body is a machine and your brain's the computer that runs it, and it's
a glitch.
The computer crashes.
And so
most people have Macs. I'm just stuck with a PC.
So is that something you're born with, or does something could something bring it on?
It can happen. It can happen any way. Some people have have childhood epilepsy and then it goes away, or they might keep it with them their whole lives. Some people develop it like I did as a teenager, or it can develop at any point in life. It can go away at any point in life.
That's really bizarre.
It's been noticed more lately that it develops in older people, in senior citizens. But that's where it's most often misdiagnosed, because it can occur along with other neurological disorders that can tend to occur later in life, like Alzheimer's, or name whatever the other things that can typically happen to senior citizens. So
getting old sucks, man. Your brain literally shrinks.
Well, and getting old sucks, but because people are typically living to be older these days, those things also happen.
Yeah.
And epilepsy is more common than people realize. It will literally happen to 1 in 26 people.
Wow. See, I know people have told me that they've had seizures, but it's only happened once, and I always have been curious on that. It's like
single seizure will happen to about 1 to 10 and 11 people throughout their lifetime.
Yeah, happened to my brother once. Yeah. I don't think it was more than once. From what I can remember, I've only heard one story.
I don't wish it on anybody, but we make the best of it. I'm very lucky to be as high functioning of an epileptic as I can, so I try to do the best I can for other people, and encourage them to live the best life they can, seek better treatment. A lot of people don't seek better treatment. They just take the medicine prescribed to them. Science is always looking for better treatments. Sometimes you might be taking an old medication. Dilantin and phenobarbital are very old, and new medications are coming out all the time. Medical marijuana has come very far, especially with CBD oils and CBD THC combinations.
And because of you guys, medical marijuana is now legal in the state of Florida.
I'm not a doctor. I can't personally prescribe anything, but I can say that it's definitely helped some people with epilepsy.
And it's helped you.
Oh yeah.
How is the dispensary experience in this state, since we're still relatively new?
It's relatively new. They're still working some things out, but it's been good so far. There's different things available for in different forms. They have a topical sublingual solution of CBD that's available under the tongue. Particularly for epileptics, there's a nasal CBD that's available as a seizure rescue medication.
So, like, as it's happening, you use that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course the vapes, which are very popular.
Well, we've been all around the world with it, so with that said, let's play some Connect 4.
Okay.
Let's meet tonight's players. Versus. Let's play Connect 4.
Round 1.
It's not a requirement. This man's ready for it. Gotta watch you, you crafty devil.
There's a joke with the puppet.
What's that?
Not being able to get, dropping it. It's embarrassing when I do it.
Dun dun dun!
Round
Alright, that's the coveted spot. Man, there's some really stellar moments in that interview that I'm going to be able to turn into some hilarious shite. I don't know, can this game go to a cat's eye?
What do you mean cat's eye?
Stalemate?
I don't know.
That's what we used to call it when you play. What the fuck was the name of that game? Tic-tac-toe. Because tic-tac-toe can end in a...
It usually doesn't.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is a zero-sum game or not.
I'm sure it could.
I'm pretty sure there are some games where there has to be a winner. You can see this is the Rain Man wheels turning, like trying to count how many moves ahead can you get here for the thing. Oh, snap.
Whoops. Oh, we got an upsie. Hey, upsie, that was one I was trying to avoid.
Round
Here we go to the final round for the
best of three.
The best of three. I've had people go, "Oh man, you let me win that one just to make it more interesting." I'm like, "No, I'm not that gracious. I want to win at this child's game."
I never did that.
I really do like these wooden chips though. Most bizarre thing, how bum bum bum.
Oh.
It's like every time it's always right in your face. You've got to wonder what's going on in our brains where we don't see it.
Yeah.
You know, but every time it's just how it goes. Awesome, man. Thank you for coming. Thank you for playing Connect 4 with me, and for me to really get a chance to get to know who you are.
Thank you.
You know, I've met you several times out at shows, but never, you know, I've always just been focused on whatever the hell I was doing. But you've always, you know, been in the periphery, and I wanted to know more about you. Now I know a whole lot about you.
It's good to get to know you too.
Well, thanks, man. And I'm sure we'll be working together in the future on all kinds of stuff.
Probably more.
Yeah, definitely. But again, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been Talent with Mark McDowell, and you've been watching Connect 4.
Like right before I moved to Orlando, I was kind of playing like the spring break. Spring. Thanks, I needed that.